Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of day it is, whatever part of the world you're at. Welcome back, and today we're gonna do a review lesson on angles inside of triangles. Okay. Now, one of the most basic rules in geometry for triangles that you need to know that all three angles inside of a triangle add up to equal 180. So for this first question where it says find the value of x, all three of these angles here, we know that if we add all three up, they should equal 180. So that's how we're going to set up our equation here. So we're going to have 3x plus 16 plus 8x plus 3 plus 10x minus 28. And after we add all that up, we're going to set it equal to 180, okay? So first, we want to take a look at, we're going to look at all the x values. 3x plus 8x plus 10x, that's going to make 21x. Okay, and just in case you don't see that, these are the ones that I added up, okay? And next, we're going to take a look at the positive 16, the positive 3, and the negative 28. When we combine all of those, that's going to make negative 9. And we're going to set all that equal to 180. Now, from there, we're going to add 9 to both sides. So that's going to make 21x equals 189. And then we divide both sides by 21, which equals 9. So x is equal to 9. But the main thing that you need to remember here is that all three angles of a triangle must add to equal 180. So the sum of the three angles is 180 degrees, okay? All right, now let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says if segment AC is equal to segment BC, find the measure of angle C. So side AC and side BC are congruent. So we're going to put those markings here. These are congruent marks. All right. Now, since they're telling us this automatically makes this triangle an isosceles triangle. Okay. So what that means as well is that these two angles down here, angle A and angle B, are also congruent. In an isosceles triangle, two sides are congruent and two angles are congruent. So the angles that are at the bottom, if you will, of the triangle, even if it's upside down, well, in this case, they would be at the top, but the base angles are what are going to be the congruent angles there, okay? So now with that being said, we already know that our equation that we're going to write to solve for x is going to be 8x minus 40 equals 5x minus 1. That's going to help us solve for x, okay? So first, we want to subtract 5x from both sides. That's going to leave us with 3x minus 40 equals negative 1. And then we're going to add 40 to both sides. That's going to leave us with 3x equals 39. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3. X will equal 13. Okay? Now that we've solved for x, the goal here, they want us to find angle C. They want to know what is the measure of angle C. Okay? So in order to do that, we need to know what angle A and B are. We already have established that angle A and angle B are congruent. They're equal. So if I plug 13 into one of those expressions, both of them are going to have the same angle measure. So now I'm going to plug it into B. So angle B is 5 times x, which is 13, minus 1. 5 times 13 is 65. 65 minus 1 is 64, okay? So each one of these angles, angle B is 64 degrees and angle A is 64 degrees. Now, we're trying to find angle C. If you remember when we did number 1, I already discussed that all three angles inside of a triangle must add up to equal 180. So now that we know that angle A and angle B are 64, if we want to try to find angle C, we got to add A and B and then subtract that sum from 180. So we're going to add angle A plus angle B, which is 64 plus 64. And let me rewrite that. I can write that a little better. And that's going to give us 128. Now, the last thing we need to do is subtract 128 from 180. So 180 minus 128, that's going to give us 52. So the measure of angle C is 52 degrees. Measure of angle C is equal to 52 degrees. Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 says find the measure of angle PRQ. All right. Now, before we can do any of that, if we're looking at this diagram here, we have an angle on the outside, an exterior angle right here, okay? And that's really talking about this side of the line. So that expression belongs right here, okay? Now, then we have two interior angles inside of a triangle. This is one of the rules in geometry. It's the exterior angle theorem, if I'm not mistaken, which states that an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two interior angles opposite of it, okay? So basically, that angle on the outside, 16x minus 7, is equal to the other two angles added together. So we have 8x plus 2 plus 10x minus 19. So anytime you have a diagram, even if the diagram looked like this, I'll draw another quick one real quick. And let's say it looked like that. And we had an angle right here, 3x. We had another one up here. That would be 5x minus 15. And let's say we had out here, this was 6x plus 18, okay? Even if the diagram was drawn like that, the exterior angle is going to always be equal to the other two angles on the inside. The other two opposite, okay? The two angles opposite the exterior angle. So, for example, for this one, it would be 6x plus 18 is equal to 3x plus 5x minus 15. And then we would solve for x, okay? So, exterior angle is equal to the two opposite interior angles. Now, once we add these up, we should be able to solve for x. So that's going to be 16x minus 7 equals 18x minus 17, okay? We're going to subtract 16 from both sides, so that's going to leave us with negative 7 equals 2x minus 17. Then we're going to add 17 to both sides. That's going to give us 10 equals 2x. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. That's going to tell us that x is equal to 5. Now that we've solved for x, we still have to answer the question. They want us to find the measure of angle PRQ. To figure that out, you should draw and connect the letters. So we got to start at P, go to R, and then go to Q, going that way. So they want us to find this angle here. Okay. Now, in order to do that, we have options here. We could plug x into this expression and that expression, then add them up and subtract that answer from 180. Okay, that's one strategy. Or we can plug x into this expression here. And then after that, we would have to subtract that answer from 180 because 16x minus 7 and the question mark angle that we're looking for, those are supplementary, which mean they add to equal 180. Okay. Or another way of looking at it is that they're a linear pair. So one more time, the angle that we're looking for and the exterior angle on the outside, the 16x minus 7, those two angles are what we call a linear pair. And linear pairs add to equal 180. So with that knowledge, what we can do, okay, what we're allowed to do, we can go ahead and plug in x into this expression here. So that's what you're going to see me do. Okay, I'm going to do 16 times 5 minus 7. Okay, now 16 times 5 is 80. Okay, and then 80 minus 7 is equal to 73. So now we know that this angle on the outside right here is really 73 degrees. If I want to find this other angle that we're looking for here, we have to subtract that answer from 180. So if we do 180 minus 73, that's going to give us 107. So, and that's equal, that is what the measure of angle PRQ is equal to. Okay. All right. That's going to finish up our lesson review on angles inside triangles. You all have a great day and see you all back next time.